Hi, beautiful people. It's me, Yvette, again. And as promised, I told you I would finish telling you about my calling that had me knowing that it was God. Well, I would go back to tell you how it started. I was praying for God to change my life and give me a new life. And my daughter I was on the East Coast and she was on the West Coast. She went to a church with her mentor. She called and said, God said, come. I packed 3 bags, left everything familiar to me, and I was getting on the plane. As I was getting on the plane, a lady says, put your bag up there and sit next to me. I thought that was weird, but I just put my bags up there and sat next to her. I sat there. She told me she had 5 brothers that was pastors and that she sang gospel, and she was just telling me a lot of stories. And then she told me how her husband and her, something happened with the plane and he ended up on one plane and she ended up on another. And so it was just by coincidence that she happened to be on the plane by herself alone. So she told me to listen to her iPod, which was Psalms 23, and then I went to sleep. When I woke up, I went to the restroom and came back and we were landing. So she said, make sure every day you ask God to direct your steps. And I said, okay. I get off the plane, I have an urgency to go to the restroom. So I go straight to the restroom. And when I'm getting up, I laugh a little bit. And I was like, the lady said, ask God to direct your steps. So I did, because I didn't know what was going to happen to me. So 8 months later, when I tell you I was in the City of Angels of Los Angeles, I met so many angels, and angels are nothing but messengers from God to direct you. So and for 8 months, blessings. I thought I had a genie. Everything just was coming to me. I ended up moving in a nice area, Ladera Heights. I ended up having all new furniture in my place. Like everything just was clicking for me. And I was like, gosh. So one day I was going through paperwork and I saw the lady's number. I said, let me call her to tell her how blessed I've been. I call her, the same thing my daughter said, I do not remember you. But she said, come go to church with me. So I told her I didn't have a car. Mind you, I've had a car since I was 16. When I left my ex, I left 5 cars. So now I'm on a bus. And I've met so many angels on that bus, and so many blessings came off of the bus. But that was my first experience, even riding a bus. Anyway, I'll tell you more of those stories later. So the lady comes to pick me up, did not recognize my face. I didn't recognize her either. Well, the church that my daughter called me from was right down the street. That's not where she wanted to go. Her church was around the corner. That's not where she wanted to go either. Mind you, since then, I've met like 5 or 6 people that are still my friends that go to that church. Anyway, she takes me across town, 30 minutes away, to another church. So when we get there, I run into 2 people I know that's familiar to me. One guy, he was over our housekeeping in at my building I worked at, and he had invited me to foot washing. And I told him I couldn't come because I didn't have transportation, because my daughter worked in retail. And then I went to get my hair done, and another guy said, you should come to my church, Grace Jones Brothers Church. I said, once I get a car, I'll come. But like I told you, I didn't have a vehicle at this time because I was just moving here and I left everything. So that made me feel a little like weird that I came over all the way over there and I saw people. So then we sit in the back, and the pastor preached. When he preached, I hollered like, do he know me? And so because of the way that I responded, she went and bought me a CD so I could always remember my first day that I came to the church. So then we went over and met her family, and she told them how God used her to talk to me. And so it was just a joyous moment. So that's all I wanted to tell you today, but that's the reason why I was like, oh, I know it had to be God, because he lined things up. But I want to come back and tell you guys about the 8 months that God just was blessing me through angels, through dreams, through visions, discernment. It was just amazing. So if you like what I say, please subscribe, like, and also comment. Tell me if you had similar experiences like this as well. I love you. God bless. Peace, love, and blessing. It's just me, Yvette. Love you. Bye-bye.